P2 Peeps.
What's good, y'all? P2 Peeps, and today I bring you guys some very interesting news about Raw Garden. So the other day in stream, I was informed that Raw Garden was actually being sued. And this isn't some sort of small lawsuit or anything. This is a class action lawsuit. For those of you who don't know what a class action lawsuit is, it pretty much means that it's a bunch of people who are a part of the suing party. You know, a bunch of affected people are suing one group for reparations. That's pretty much what a class action lawsuit does. So a lot of other common class action lawsuit things would be like medications, you know, side effects for medications, you know, all those commercials that are like, if you or a loved one has had mesothelioma, etc., etc. Those are normally advertising for a class action lawsuit. That's what a class action lawsuit is. And yeah, so the reason Raw Garden is being sued is over their packaging. So for those of you who don't know, Raw Garden puts refined live resin on the front of their packaging, and that is not exactly the case. It is not really live resin. Now, me personally, I know that refined live resin, it didn't mean that it was actually a live resin cartridge. It meant that it was a distillate cartridge with live resin terpenes. But I can see why so many people feel misled about it, because it says refined live resin, and it's even sold in the live resin sections of some dispensaries and deliveries. So, you know, it totally makes sense why this is happening. There's been a lot of, you know, markets and storefronts here that are affected by the false marketing, which is why we are seeing this class action lawsuit. So let's go and read into a little bit of the article here from inkbright.com. I'll put it up a little bit on screen right here, but yeah, we'll start from the beginning here. So, packaging scrutiny. Class action complaint filed against live resin vape cartridge manufacturer. As the cannabis market matures, we see more lawsuits based on fraud, including claims made on packaging and marketing materials. A recent class action complaint filed in San Francisco County Superior Court alleges that Raw Garden products packaged as refined live resin vape pens do not contain live resin. Instead, they are allegedly made with distillate and reintroduced terpenes, which is, you know, what I said earlier. I personally knew that, but not a lot of people know that, and some people take offense to the fact that they think that Raw Garden is using the refined part of their live resin thing to get away with calling their stuff live resin. So, yeah, we'll go more. It says here, we'll have to wait and see what happens with this complaint. It is important to watch, as many industry terms have been loosely defined while others are well known and settled. You know, that is just referring to the refined live resin term. It is something, one of those things that they're talking about that's loosely defined. You know, and so here we're going to go into the highlighted complaints here that are in the article. So, Raw Garden, a DBA for Central Coast Agriculture LLC, has well-loved cannabis vape pens and a strong following. The following included the plaintiff in the complaint. The plaintiff claims that he purchased the Raw Garden vape cartridge and paid a premium price for the products because he believed them to contain live resin. And that's very true. We'd be paying about $60 to $75 per Raw Garden cartridge. And, you know, some people take offense to the fact that it is distillate and not real live resin. I do like the live resin terps, but I am a part of the small, I am kind of in that little bit that does think that they should be a little bit more honest in the packaging. But yes, the complaint states that the plaintiff would not have purchased the product if he knew it was made with distillates and reintroduced terpenes. The complaint alleges that Raw Garden creates the vape pen cartridges by making live resin, distilling it, and adding terpenes back into this distillate. The company then packages and sells the resulting liquid as a refined live resin vape cartridge, according to the complaint. The complaint continues to allege that the liquid used in Raw Garden's live resin cartridge is not live resin because it has been distilled and despite the re-addition of terpenes, it does not contain all the organic compounds that are in a true live resin. So there we have it with the formal complaint about what's going on here with Raw Garden. It all boils down to the fact that it is distillate with reintroduced live resin terpenes. Now, from what I read here, they're actually making live resin in the process, and then distilling that same live resin while taking out the terps, and then putting the same terps back in. Maybe it's the same terps, maybe not, but the process is a little bit different, I guess, maybe from other ways people do distillates. But I personally don't have anything wrong against reintroduced terpenes into any cartridges. But again, like I said before, I do wish that I did think that Raw Garden should be a little bit more honest in the front of the packaging. If it says refined live resin, I feel like they should at least talk to people on the box about what that means, because they could have really still appealed to people, even if they said it was distillate. I think the way that Raw Garden markets their stuff, they would definitely have been able to pull that off. So now we get into the next part of the article here: distillates versus live resin. What's the difference? So dabconnection.com explains, distillates focus on retaining the strength and purity of cannabis concentrate. Taste and flavor are not a priority. The distillation extraction process requires a solvent such as CO2, butane, or ethanol, pressure, steam, and heat. So that is discussing how distillate is done. Taste and flavor are not a priority. That's kind of why distillate's not really one of my favorites. I think I do like the more organic, more full spectrum type things. But yeah, for those of you who don't know how live resin is done, it's pretty much just harvested freshly and then flash freezed immediately so that it can retain all its flavors and all that stuff. And then it's extracted in a different way. Keeping it's like they keep the solvent really, really cold, and then you heat it up again to remove all this other stuff, and it's a process. But just know that it starts with a very, very cold run. Live resin focuses on retaining the flavors of the product and stuff, and that's kind of why I like that a little. So yeah, what do you guys think about Raw Garden getting sued? Do you guys think that this is proper? Like, do you guys think that Raw Garden had it coming? That they've been lying to people for super long, and this is just what they get? Or are you guys some Raw Garden fans and don't really see the point in the lawsuit? Me personally, I get it. I totally get it. If people are generally looking at live resin cartridges and seeing $75 or $60 to $65, and then there's Raw Garden cartridges up there that are actually distillate, but you've got some distillate carts with cannabis and cannabis derived terpenes that are a little bit cheaper, then of course I'm going to raise a little eyebrow every now and then. But like I said before, I don't think there's any inherent problem with having reintroduced terpenes into your distillates. They do that for Buddies. There's STIIIZY ones. I think it's just the marketing just has to be honest. But yeah. Thanks you guys for watching, and I'll be sure to keep my eye out on this situation and even read through some of the case files and the formal documentation. And if you guys are a little bit more interested in me breaking down those things, I can definitely do that stuff. But yeah, thanks everyone for watching. P2 out. Peace.